Jones with more.
Laura, good morning. LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels gave Alabama fits 1 year ago in leading the Tigers to victory in overtime against the Crimson Tide. Nick Saban said this week, the guy killed us. He killed us. They run their offense to perfection, and he is the reason why. I went down to the Bayou this week to sit down with Jayden to discuss the magnitude of that win 1 year ago and how he's developed and evolved both as person and as player.
What's at stake for both of these teams, what it means for both of these teams. They're giving it everything they have, keep their hopes alive.
What stands out most about last year's game against Alabama?
Just the energy for me, being a West Coast kid, I never really experienced something like that. And I'm like, okay, now this is what I came here for, these big moments.
What was your message to your teammates before that last drive?
In overtime, we were going on the field and they were talking about the plays on the headset. And then they called a read option. I basically called my own number. I said, well, if they call this, I'm going to end the game. I'm going to score.
Escapes, makes a cut. Daniels in space. He'll score!
After that, it was like, okay, we got to go for two. So how do I get everybody composed? This is a big moment right here. We called a timeout, and, we went to the huddle. I said, hey, everybody just do your job. We'll be successful at the end of the day. That's what happened.
Daniels for the win. Caught. It's good! LSU does it!
What did you learn about yourself with that kind of pressure and to prevail?
It's more fulfilling knowing that I can still do this at a high level. I want to play against the best teams in the country, the best competition, in the best conference. So that was for me after the game. It was like, okay, I kind of arrived now, like I'm here.
Why was it the right decision for you to come back to LSU and play college for a fifth year?
Me personally, I wanted to grow one more year as a man, on and off the field. You go to the NFL and you don't know what's out there for you. You can't really control what you want to control.
We sat across from one another 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And we discussed Coach Kelly pulling you aside and saying, Jayden, I want excellence, not perfection.
Right.
Which gives you license to rip it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the overall impact of him instilling that in you ultimately had?
If you see something, just throw it. Nobody's perfect. It's like you're wrong if you're holding the ball.
Daniels looking downfield. He wants a shot for Brian Thomas into the end zone. Touchdown!
I think what it allowed him to do was play the game without thinking about, I can't make a mistake. And I would get on him and say, listen, try to make that throw into a phone booth. I think it was a process for him. He's not wired that way. There's nothing that he does in his life that is not thought out.
Daniels stands, fires, caught. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers!
Where do you get your calm demeanor?
I'm more of a quiet person, but I don't let too much affect my emotions. I know how to deal with my emotions differently than most people. It's just something I was instilled with, as a young kid. My dad showed me, clips of Joe Montana, and his biggest moments, and talking about if I want to play quarterback, this is kind of how I got to act in big moments. And I didn't really understand what he was saying until I got older. You got your highs and your lows, as a quarterback. You're going to have all eyes on you. No matter what, you got to act accordingly.
Quarterback draw. The C's part. There goes Daniels. Touchdown!
When you were a little guy, first starting to play the quarterback position, how often did you dream about the Heisman Trophy?
I want to say I started dreaming about it until actually Cam Newton won it. So I want to say I was like 11. The turning point for me was when Lamar won it. I was like 16 and, seeing him, what he did and how electrifying he was in college. And I was like, I want to get to college and that's a goal of mine. At some point I want to win a Heisman Trophy.